So now we're gonna shift gears and move on to dessert, which is the new consoles. So we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Supposedly these are both coming out this holiday. We know now that the Xbox Series X is coming out this November, and rumor has it November 6th right now, as far as what they've been saying and what we've been hearing. We do know it's November. We're not 100% sure if it's the 6th, but that's kind of the rumor going around. PlayStation, it hasn't given, they're still on the holiday 2020 train, so they still haven't given a definite month or anything like that. I would assume that they're probably also going to be November. That's typically the launch date for most consoles, so it depends on who launches first, right? When it comes to November time.
Definitely, Sony will not let Microsoft be more than 2 weeks ahead of them. I don't believe if the 6 is correct, I don't see Sony going before that. I just can't fathom it. I would be surprised if Microsoft hit the 6th. I would think a little bit later in that month, but definitely middle of the month.
Yeah, I mean, one way to look at it either way is Xbox is around 90 days, give or take a few days. It could be more, it could be less. We're about 90 days out. It's kind of concerning that there's no pre-order stuff yet or information, but
They are still supposed to have another game showcase this month. I have not heard an actual date though. Last I heard it was another one in August, no date given. But apparently, they're still supposed to have it. Also rumored they're going to announce the supposed Series X or Series S, excuse me. So we'll just have to see. But yes, it's definitely awful late to be announcing a pre-order date and price.
Yeah, we're getting super close.
Yeah, for sure. And for both systems, especially, if for those individuals that, like us that do want to pre-order and get our orders in for it, and we want to know when we can pre-order it and how much it's going to be, for those individuals out there that are going to get both systems, for them, I'm sure they want to know when they can pre-order, but especially how much money they're going to need for both, right? I mean, there are those individuals out there that are going to get both come release date, so they need to know that information. And the sooner that PlayStation and Xbox can get that information out, I think it'll be better for everyone. I mean, I think this is the only time we've seen two consoles coming out and still being August and still don't know any pre-order information.
Yeah, I'm ready to see price and when they can take my money. Do I need a new console? No. Do I want a new console? Yes. Just because that's what that's what typically, I don't know. It's just the hype of it is all great. The whole thing leading up to getting a new console is great. The waiting in line with friends to pick the new consoles up and just the whole giddiness is kind of is fun.
Yeah, it's my Disneyland.
Right,
I wait for this thing every 7 to 10 years. I want to go to my Disneyland and hang with my friends and get yelled at because I'm dropping, more money on another console. And I've already got, the last 3 iterations at home.
Right. And will they let us, are they going to do midnight releases this year? That's another thing too, with COVID still being an issue and things like that. Stores are open. You can go into them, but, are they going to have, because, those are essentially a mass gathering, right?
Yep.
So our business is going to allow for that, they could do it safely if they had people 6 feet apart and everyone has to wear a mask, but how are places like Best Buy and Walmart and various GameStop and stuff like that going to handle something like that?
All right.
Could you imagine trying to do a midnight release for like PlayStation 2 when it launched with safe distancing and a mask? People were nuts at Best Buy at that time. I could not imagine it. There were people pulling up in cars with PlayStations filled in their trunk, selling for $1,000 a pop. So.
I couldn't find a PlayStation 2 when it released. Because they had a lot of pre-orders and short supply. I remember back then. I found mine at Walmart at like 3:00 in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
Tapping on the glass. I want this one.
Yeah, they only got like a couple in, and I'm like, I want one of those, and bought a couple games and an extra controller because I had a buddy with me, and we left and went home and played.
I I made my buddies just sit and watch.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's always the fun part, right? I mean, let's just take, for example, the little halfway console releases, between when Microsoft came out with the Xbox One and then they did the One X and then PlayStation did the PlayStation Pro. I mean, I don't know how many Taco Bell boxes I ate to try to win an Xbox One X, but I know that my stomach and body hated me for it.
Oh yeah, I'm still processing those things.
And all in the end, I didn't win one, so I ended up pre-ordering one. I ordered one of the Scorpions. I don't know. It's just something about that is fun for me. Is to get the new consoles, even though for these new next console releases, I don't need to have one because all the games are going to be coming out are going to work on my Xbox One X. So I don't need one, but I want one, and it's all I'm just worried about the pricing a little bit.
I'm giving Microsoft a lot of credit for what they're doing because I think it's good for the consumer. I think it works well. I think it helps spread out that time that some people need to buy the consoles. I like everything they've messaged so far. It breaks my heart about Halo, but I like what they're doing with this, and they're making me want the console even though I don't. Sony's doing something completely different, but I like where this is going with both of them.
Yeah. Well, we all know why Halo got pushed. That was actual demo footage. That was actual demo footage at that gameplay.
Oh yeah.
This is what the current game looks like, and all the fans were disappointed in that. And they're like, no, yep. This is early. This is early alpha stuff. No, it's current.
No, that's what you guys are making.
We better fix that, guys. They were unhappy.
But you know what? Got to give them credit. I mean, it sucks, but they listen, which Microsoft's been doing an amazing job about listening to the consumer, and they pushed it back, even though it's a lot of idiots out there trashing it. But I'm glad they did, and I know when they do release it, it's gonna be solid. It's got to be better than 5 story wise.
So yeah, I mean, It's all about the games and the stuff, but for me, it's just all about the fun leading up into it. Like I said, Nick, I'm pretty sure you did the same thing. How many Taco Bell big boxes did you eat while you were trying to win your Xbox One X?
Oh yeah, I got one almost every night.
I think you were eating one while you were on the toilet.
I just recycling, You
were like, oh, my code didn't work. I need to go back to Taco Bell.
I need to go back to Taco Bell.
Yep,
I'll take the toilet with me.
Yep, they sent me a text back, said, please slow down.
We ran out of boxes.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's the fun that's leading up to it, especially if we do get together again, because it's just, we're all friends, and when we hang out, we just goof off and mess around, and it's the same thing, but you got a little bit more anticipation and excitement of taking home a new console. I do buy both consoles, usually not at the same time because I can't afford that. But, I think currently, we usually buy consoles as a group because we play as a group together. So, I mean, I think we as a group lean more towards Xbox usually just because, it's just the console that seems to have over the years had the most to offer for us as a group of friends who like to play co-op games.
Yeah, the services are outstanding. The online setup is, in my opinion, the way the other consoles need to lean towards. That's not a diss on anybody, but it just works best for us.
Yeah,
but we do love our exclusives from all the other makers. That's for dang sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bought the, I didn't get a PlayStation 4 until Horizon came out, and then Horizon made me buy the 4, and then I do nothing but just pump exclusives out of it. Last of Us and all that. I just go crazy when I get it because usually, like I said, I buy the one console up front, and then I don't get the other one. And the one that I don't get, I usually buy it and then end up for months on end just catching up on exclusives. And then the same thing with Nintendo. I didn't buy it the Switch when it came out, but when I did go for it, I bought Zelda and I bought all this stuff. I'm just like, all right, got to play through all this stuff.
Yep, Mario was made me get the Switch, and gotta love that game.
Yeah, it's the same thing. The like you said, we mainly play on Xbox, but on the PlayStation side of things, the exclusives are, most of them are really good. Me currently just finished Ghost of Tsushima, which was excellent. We all finished The Last of Us Part 2, which was, we already talked about that last time. God of War and Spider-Man and
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I don't think for PlayStation 4, I can't think of any exclusive games coming out anytime soon. They do have the new Spider-Man Miles Morales game, which I don't know if that one's just PlayStation 5 or is that both?
No, that's only
For the
PS5.
That's only going to
the
be
way I
PlayStation.
understood it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that looks really cool. PlayStation 5's got that, and then Godfall, I mean, for me right now, I mean, it is Gearbox, and Gearbox is kind of hit and miss with me. Mostly hit, but sometimes they have some misses in there. Right now, Godfall is not piquing my interest too much, but I do want to see more from it, and I would like to play it. I wish, I do hope it comes out and it's an awesome game.
Right.
That's what I truly hope, because if it is, then I'll be more pumped to pick up a PlayStation 5 just to play that, and especially for all of us to do that, because it's co-op, and I think it's 3-player co-op, I want to say, or maybe 4, I'm not sure.
Right.
I think it's 3-player. Is it 4-player co-op?
I'm pretty positive it was 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem that I run into with PlayStation. There's not a lot of co-op games for them, but I will admit that they probably have some of the best exclusives out there. I mean,
that's really not a question for me. I mean, Microsoft has basically, when it comes to gaming with friends, they've got some big beasts. But when it comes to a single player game, Sony and Nintendo nail it every time for their first party anyway. But Sony's launch games from their show, the only game that really made me go, I want to play this, was Ratchet and Clank. But I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan, and it really looked slick. But it didn't make me want to just run out and buy it first, though.
Right. And with consoles, consoles are always releasing pretty close to each other, Xbox and Sony, that is. They're really close to each other always. So usually, especially this year, the differences in specifications from the two consoles is minimal. Like, there's not a whole lot that separates them, really. Microsoft has a little bit of the edge because of the amount of the GPU that they're using. They just got a little edge on the teraflops that they have. Other than that, Microsoft and Sony's CPU is like extremely close. We're talking like the clock hertz on those things is like 0.3 difference. Same amount of cores, same processor, really, just different core, just a slight slower clock speed on the PlayStation and a slightly slower amount of teraflops on the GPU. Other than that, they're really close. The technology difference is really only in their drives, their storage.
And typically, it really just comes down to the ease of developing on the system and transferring it down a system at this time of year, when you still got those games that are going to be on PS4, PS5, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. I mean, that's really where you're going to see the difference in those games, I think.
Right. And like I said, they'll pull out some first party game to where I have to play it, and obviously I already know what that is going to be. There's another Horizon Zero Dawn on the map. So when that game comes out, I'm going to have to buy a PlayStation. I just have to.
Yeah, I liked it, but I wasn't a big as fanboy as you are, but it was definitely a good game. I'm really excited to see what Sony does with some new first-person stuff or new first-party stuff. Because, God of War, they're bringing that back, with the last one. So I'd like to see what they do with the next one. I would like to see another full-fledged Spider-Man game. Full-fledged, not this Miles Morales crap where it's basically just an add-on.
Right. It's kind of like an Infamous Last Light type of situation where they use the Infamous 2, I believe it was, the same engine and structure, which is kind of like a side story. Type game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Sony brings out. From their PlayStation event, they had they showed off some pretty cool games. There really wasn't, for me personally, there really wasn't one that stuck out to me that was just like, oh, I got to get a PlayStation for this. There will be, right? Besides Horizon was on there, and I love Horizon as well, and that's definitely one that I will want to play. I don't think that's a launch title. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah.
And so we don't know when that's going to come out. So that's definitely a system buyer for me as well. And I think by that time they're going to have, they're going to be announcing some other ones that are definitely going to be ones I'll be like, oh, got to get a PlayStation for that. It's until that time. And again, with Godfall, if Godfall ends up being this awesome game, but then again with Godfall, is that, I think right now, and I believe it is true that that's just a PlayStation 5 game only. And not coming anywhere else. I don't know if it's a limited type thing or if that's just going to be the end all be all. It feels like it's end all be all, but
no, it's a Sony exclusive.
That's what I thought.
Yep, sadly.
Yeah, and on the Xbox side, they're really, and from their presentation so far, besides Halo, they're, and Halo's been pushed back to 2021, which sucks, but I understand. There really wasn't anything on their presentation that made me go, oh, I need to get an Xbox Series X. Now, will I get one? Yes, I will. But there really wasn't anything. The only game though that I really do want to play, and I don't need a Series X to play it. I don't believe. Actually, I think you do. Now that I think about it, which is The Medium. I hope that game turns out to be really good. It reminds me of Silent Hill. It's got those kind of Silent Hill vibes. I think even the music director for it is originally from Silent Hill, or doing the Silent Hill music. It looks really cool, and I think that one is an Xbox Series X only game in PC.
Yeah, and I think the same thing. Yeah, Godfall as well as PC. So that may be something that saves it. It's going to be Microsoft Windows and PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I think if I was to pick a game from Sony's conference, Microsoft's conference, Sony for me was Ratchet and Clank, but I'm old school. I love that. But Microsoft, I'm a little torn. Fable didn't really show much, but it's Fable, for God's sakes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited about that. But Avowed, that's going to be tight. And, even, I'd say it, even Tetris Effect Connected, that just looks like fun, because there was one out for the OG Xbox, online Tetris, and I had such a blast with it. And this one gives me hope I can have the same amount of fun.
Yeah, and I have that one for PlayStation 4, that Tetris one, and it's really fun. It's really good.
Yeah.
And let us know what you guys saw in these conferences that you thought really stood out, what made you think, wow, this makes me got to have this system, or are you freaking kidding me? Let us know what you guys saw.
Yeah. Yep. The console wars are heating up. Sony kind of did what I would call a dirty trick with the current console stuff. I am completely miffed about something they have done, to the point to where I'm probably not going to buy the game. But the new Avengers, they basically worked out a deal to where they get the exclusive to Spider-Man. For the most part, I'm okay with a console exclusive as long as it doesn't take away from the game. Like if you're going to do a skin, console exclusive games is one thing, but to take a game that is combined on both consoles and completely remove story and quests and things from the game because of something like that is completely dirty, in my opinion. And it's one of those things where I shame on Sony and shame on Marvel shame on them all for allowing that to happen. Because Sony has their exclusives, Microsoft can have their exclusives, but as soon as you combine a game and take something away, that's bad form, that's bad customer service, that's bad consumerism right there. Because you are basically saying that I have to buy the game twice if I want that, if I already have it on one console.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the fighters where you could have got Master Chief in one for the Xbox. You could have got Kratos in the other for Sony, Mario for Nintendo,
Right.
It's not like it was just a character that belonged to this party. It was a staple character, a childhood character. That's ridiculous. That would have been doing the same thing with Iron Man. It would not, just does not make sense.
No, it doesn't. You're removing content from a game. You're saying that because I bought it on Xbox. Yeah, so basically you're saying that if I bought this on Xbox for the same price that I paid it on PlayStation, I am losing out on content. Like I'm talking meaningful content, not skins, not stuff like that. I'm losing out on story. I'm losing out on backstory, all that kind of stuff that's locked to that character. I don't even care if Microsoft added their own character that had its own backstory. I would say that is completely wrong. You shouldn't lock a console group of players out from content because of the console that they chose to pick.
Unfortunately, they say it's the nature of the beast, but there's a point where you don't cross, and that's a cross. That's definitely a cross.
I think the only way they're going to get the clue is if we as gamers vote with our wallet. Is the only way that I'll see that paying off. And I just, I want to play with my friends. If the majority of my friends have it on Xbox, well, I'm going to play with them, which means I'm going to miss out on the Spider-Man content.
Yep, and that sucks, but I will not buy a console for just Spider-Man.
Right.
Just that character.
Yeah, I like the Spider-Man game, and I will play. I would buy it when I got a PlayStation for an exclusive game. I will buy that. But a game that's released on everything should not have that level of exclusivity in it. If they wanted to do a 30-day exclusivity thing, whatever, or a 2-week thing, whatever, I'm fine with that. Just don't make it something to where we were locked out of it. Somebody's locked out of it because they decided that they wanted to buy it on this other console.
Right, and they did the same thing with Destiny as well. Remember when Destiny came out, they had the year-long exclusivity on PlayStation for Destiny, and I think even Destiny 2 had something like that as well. I don't believe it wasn't as much on Destiny 2 as it was on the first one. I don't believe the exclusive stuff that they had. They kind of learned their lesson from the first one because there was a lot of outcry from the community for that. Even though it was a year, it's still that's a year. It's a year of content that you've got to wait around for just for some little exclusive. I don't know. I mean, who cares, right?
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, if you're going to release a game that's for every console, then you just have to bite the bullet and release all the content for everybody, not pick and choose that I want these people to be incentivized because they have this console. We're all gamers. We need to play together. I want to play with you. I want to play with my friends that are on PlayStation on these games together. I don't care what console they're on. I buy every console. I don't care. The first console I buy is usually where the group of my friends go.
And that's really where everyone should. These console wars and things like that should be a thing of the past. I mean, who cares if you buy a PlayStation or an Xbox? And I'm the same as you and Shane is as well. We all buy every console. We have a PlayStation and a Switch and an Xbox and a PC, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We have all of these things and we play on all of them. And for us, we're just gamers. We're excited for all of them. I'm excited for PlayStation 5 as much as I'm excited for the Series X. Like we said at the beginning, we're more Xbox gamers in general, and that's what we mainly play most of the time. We are still excited for these other consoles and to see what these other consoles bring. And, it's not like one console's collecting dust because, for me, I still play my PlayStation, especially those exclusives that come out. Those are most of the time they're really great games. And so I'm excited to get them and play them.
Yep. I go through their exclusive lists all the time and I play what I can, and right now I'm waiting my turn on Ghost of Tsushima, So, I play through the exclusives and that's why I have a PlayStation, and if PlayStation came out with some groundbreaking feature and we decided with the next rendition of that we were going to start with PlayStation, then we would do it. It's just right now, things like Game Pass and stuff like that drive us towards the Xbox because we get to play a lot more stuff for less money.
Right.
Yep. Not to mention a lot of those little hidden gems you find in there that you would have never picked up before, and it's really cool. I really enjoy it.
Well, I mean, on all honesty, I would probably never have bought Grounded without playing this. If they put it out on early access and said you need to pay $20, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Nope, absolutely.
Right, and Ori for the Xbox, that game looked cool. So would I, if Game Pass wasn't around, I've bought it? Probably eventually, yes, because it did look like a game I wanted to play. But I just recently myself finally got around to playing and beating both Ori games, and they were both fantastic. And I wish I would have played them sooner and not have waited so long. But with Game Pass, I didn't have to go and purchase them. They were just in my Game Pass, and I said, hey, I'm going to try these out finally, and started playing and fell in love. And as soon as I beat the first one, I went right into the second one and beat that. So
yeah, I mean, we find all kinds of hidden gems. I mean, one of us will play a game and tell the rest of us, you guys need to check this out. Like Nick was playing Two Crowns, and he told us about Two Crowns. I'm like, I've never heard of this. I looked at it, and from the screen art, it's like, I'm not interested in this. But you know what? I played it for quite a while. I got me hooked, and then they had co-op, and so me and Nick played it together, and and
It's a fantastic game. It's just, and if you guys find anything in there you think somebody needs to play, just let us know, because I've found several little games just like that. Indivisible has been just a blast to play.
Carry-On's another one we just played, not too long ago. It's a recommendation of Nick's as well. He's like, I've got to play Carry-On.
Yeah, that was a great game. And then Indivisible, I've played that one too, Shane, and that's a fantastic game. If no one's ever played it or thought about or saw it on there and thought, I'm not sure, definitely try it out. If you like kind of old school turn-based RPG combat, and then with really nice art direction, and everything is voice casted, voice-overed. So it's kind of a mixture of platforming RPG. Yep. It's a really cool game.
Yep. And so, we just we got off topic a little bit there about consoles and stuff. But yeah, I mean, the games is what drives us to consoles, really. And us as a group, we play together. So we usually make group decisions on that type of stuff. And, a lot of my other gamer friends are the same. I've got a friend of mine who has a PlayStation but doesn't have an Xbox because his group of friends play on PlayStation. It's just the way that they operate. And I think a lot of gamers that are in a group of friends that want to play together probably operate that way. There's either a fanboy in the group that drives them one way, or they're all talking about favorite games and they're like, I want to get it because of this. And so they make decisions like that. About the only thing we haven't discussed was the look of the consoles. I mean, do you want the artsy style of the PlayStation, or do you want the refrigerator look of the Xbox?
For me, I like the look of the Xbox. I like that simplistic. It reminds me of the old PC towers, and I love that old school look of it.
It's looks like somebody took my full tower PC and just chopped it in half, and you got this just tall box looking thing.
Yep. It's like the ATX minis, man.
But I have to say that the Xbox console, I did not like at first, and then it just kept growing and growing on me. And then when I saw the PS5 reveal, I really like why the hell not movement they went with that design. I mean, is it really needed? No, but it's really cool. I mean, it's a neat little taco holder.
I mean, the PlayStation controller looks pretty cool to me. I wish they would fix the joysticks, but yeah, I mean, other than that, the controller looks like an alien boomerang almost to me.
Yep.
But
it looks really cool.
But the Xbox it just looks like it looks like a mini refrigerator almost. My only concern with these consoles is the size of them. The Xbox looks quite tall, so I'm worried about my game setup is I'm worried about where I'm going to put this thing because the vents are on the top and the bottom, and the way that I would put it in my shelving unit is that the vents are going to be blocked by a wall because my gaming shelf is a cubby for all instance. The front is open for ventilation, but the sides and the top and the bottom and the back are all enclosed. And I almost think the PlayStation might be too tall to fit in one of those, but I haven't actually measured it. The PlayStation kind of looks like somebody took a 3-ring binder and kind of bent it, one of those white 3-ring binders you had when you were in school.
Yeah,
it looks like a router.
Is big.
Yeah, that's a good term. It looks like somebody took one of those gaming routers from back in the day, gaming router / gaming modem, and said, "Look, we're going to turn this into a console." Except for it looks like the old that's what it is. It's probably the size of the old cable modem you used to get from the cable company whenever you would first get high-speed internet. Here's your modem. This thing takes up a quarter of your shelving space.
Damn thing was bigger than my original Xbox.
Right? So yeah, I mean the designs of them are interesting.
Right.
It doesn't look like Microsoft did anything with the controller too much. I haven't got my hands on one. But
just the share button is the biggest change physically that I saw.
Yeah.
On the exterior, by the way.
Right. I got the Xbox Elite 2 controller, and so I'll probably just keep playing with that onto the Xbox. I mean, there's something about some of the controllers, the first gen controllers that I always keep. Like I have my Scorpio controller tucked away. It's never been used. I've never even played with it because I didn't want to play it. I wanted to keep it in pristine condition.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think the PlayStation 5 controller looks really cool. I like the design. I like the two-tone color scheme that they went with that. I think it's really neat looking, and of course the console goes along with that two-tone color. It is pretty big, and for the PlayStation 5 console, I wasn't too keen on it at first when they first revealed it, as far as the looks and things of that nature. Now it's fine. It's grown on me as far as the look of it. It seems like, and I'm not 100% sure, because it looks like because they mainly show it vertical, and with it vertical, it looks like it has a stand that you put it in. I don't know if that, and it looks like, from what I can tell, that when it's on its side, you're still putting it on that stand. And the same thing well, not the same thing, but the Xbox Series X, when it's vertical, it also has a stand that is sitting in. And then when it's on its side, of course, you don't have to have a stand for that. And it almost seems like, especially with them showing off both consoles being in their vertical state, it seems like they're both kind of transitioning to both consoles' preferred orientation is to have them standing, which is definitely different from every console,
You're right. Yep, I agree. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I mean, because then we're gonna have two renditions of each console available to us, at different price points. We're gonna have the PlayStation with and without the optical drive, and the Xbox with and without the optical drive. So there'll be differences in those type of things. So we'll just have to wait and see what they. I'm ready for some prices, and I'm ready for them to tell me when they can take my money. I'm ready for it. The only place that right now, in my opinion, the only place that outside of exclusives for PlayStation that they have Microsoft beat is VR. I mean, PlayStation VR is still kicking, still pumping out good games, and Microsoft doesn't have an answer to that. They rely on their PC brethren to run that gamut for them with the Oculus and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. And the PlayStation VR, that's the cheapest entry point for getting into VR. If you want to experience VR and VR games and you can't afford the PC rigs, which, most of them are pretty expensive. They do have some cheaper options with the all-in-one rigs, but still it's an expensive venue. But, if you have the PlayStation VR, which is the cheapest way to get into it, and there are some pretty cool games on PlayStation VR. Right. Yeah, I mean, hopefully Microsoft will come up with something. I just don't think they're, at least right now, really that interested in a VR solution. Right. So.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I agree. They don't seem to be interested in it because they leave all that to like I said, their the PC master race group, if you will, to drive that for them. They don't care about the console side. Right. Probably because they're having a hard time competing with PlayStation on price point and everything.
Well, that's something we should talk about real quick as well. So the rumors, are still going around. Sony is going to be higher than Microsoft. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think Sony's going to come in at $500. I honestly do, for their disc version. I think they're going to be $500, and then maybe $400 for the discless. And then Microsoft's probably going to be $400 for their disc and maybe $350 for their discless. I wouldn't see Microsoft going any higher than probably $400.
Well, do you think it's going to be a discless console, the Series S, or do you think it's going to be a lower powered system?
I hope they don't.
The rumor was it was going to be like 6 to 8 teraflop, which would put it just under Sony's.
Which means that there's no point in me buying that version because my Xbox One X is at that power point then.
Absolutely.
Right. Would you have the better CPU?
You're getting
the newer, but you have the newer versions of things. But I would currently 99% of all the games that I buy on Xbox are digital. The opposite is true for PlayStation. 99% of all the games that I play on PlayStation are physical. I don't have a tendency to keep PlayStation games. I trade them in a lot. So that might save me on the PlayStation side where I can, or it will hurt me on the PlayStation side. I mean, because I would probably still do the same thing because I only buy exclusives for them. And for the most part, they're exclusives. The replayability for me is maybe twice on most of their games. Like I do a replay on, I've replayed God of War just because when the first game came out, there was so much still left to do when they came out with their DLCs, and then Horizon. But other than that, most of the other exclusives I have not played through again.
Right. Yeah. I mainly buy. I'm the same way for PlayStation. I mainly buy physical, and for Xbox, I mainly buy digital. And that's for Xbox. That's also because of the game sharing. PlayStation has game sharing as well, but I don't know. For me and my experience, Shane, we just haven't had good luck with the sharing on PlayStation for some reason. With these new consoles coming out, if the Xbox Series S is, I would assume it's going to be discless. And the rumors have been for quite a while that it is going to be a less powerful machine, mainly doing 1080 and 1440. If that's the case, then I will go with the higher tiered Series X for myself, because I do want that 4K, 120 hertz experience that they're talking about. For the PlayStation 5, though, and what it seems to be that way is that the digital version and the disc version are pretty much the same thing. They're just one with a disc drive and one without. For this time around, I might go, for PlayStation, and again, it depends on price difference, right? If it's $50 difference between the two, I'll just get the one with the disc drive, right? I'll pay the $50 for the disc drive. But if it's $100 or $200 difference or something like that, then yeah, I'll probably go with the discless version of it, just start buying digital. I don't typically trade in my games, and I got quite a few physical PS4 games, but I don't know if I want to continue that with PlayStation 5 or just kind of start going all digital for PlayStation 5 and beyond, and especially with Xbox. With Xbox One, I maybe have like 10 maybe physical Xbox One games, and the rest of them are all digital.
Yeah, I don't think I have a single. I was just looking around. I don't have a single Xbox One X game running around here that's physical.
I think I have 2.
But I think, honestly, that's our conversation is a perfect example if Microsoft and Sony want to kill game trading, like GameStop. They just need a $200 cheaper console that has the same specifications as the disc version. We'll end up doing it, because I would buy that. If it's $200 cheaper, I would buy that. I would suffer in the end, because I would not, I'd be like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to save $200, but 5 games into it, guess what? Sony and Microsoft and Sony just made their money, because I can't trade those games back in and somebody else has to buy them.
Yeah, it's only going to benefit the game manufacturers, the console makers. It's just a big benefit to them.
Right.
It has to be, but in my opinion, this console would have to be $100 or more cheaper.
Yes. To
get me to consider that digital version, because like y'all said, Sony for me is exclusives and exclusives only.
Right.
And, that's what, 3-4 games a year on average.
Right. Yep. And at a $500 price point, if Sony does come out at $500 price point, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Right. And I think they will. I think Microsoft, just to grab market share, is willing to go in at a lower price just for that fact, right? Mm-hmm. Just to gain some ground in console sales. I know, console sales don't seem to be their, what they're really shooting for. It's more Game Pass, right? They're really trying to sell people on Game Pass and their services, and it's understandable, because right now they have for gaming, they have the best services that you can get, right? I could see them going down with a lower price point under PlayStation, just to get some of that market share with the console sales, just to get a few more consoles in people's houses, so they buy Game Pass, right? I don't think Sony, even though Sony, they definitely make a lot more things than just consoles, and they do have money, I don't think they want to go with that, and they don't need to, right? They don't need to go with that lower price point, right? I mean, they have so many fans of the PlayStation 4 that, and it's really going to come down to, for Sony, if they come out with a $500 or $600 machine, if that's their price point, are they going to shoot themselves in the foot doing something like that? They did something similar like that with PlayStation 3. When they had so much market share and so many people excited for PlayStation 2, and then and that was a great console, and then PlayStation 3 came out at like $600, I think it was, or something like that.
$600 painful dollars.
Right, and then that made everybody move over to the 360, right? And they lost that entire market because of that move. Not that the PlayStation 3 wasn't a great console, it was, but they shot themselves. They got too heavy-handed with that, and it was like, oh, well, we can't lose, or whatever, because they sold a ton with the PlayStation 2, and they shot themselves in the foot with that. So.
And I remember the conference when they announced that, and I think Sony knew last second that they were probably boned on price when they did the announcement. God, I can't ever think of his name off the top of my head. He basically said, yep, and we're releasing this holiday for and look what we got now. I mean, it's like,
right.
like Like, okay, buddy, did you just say $599.99?
You might as well just said $600. We don't care about the penny.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
you know what? I really am tired of the damn penny. Kill the damn penny.
That's a different podcast. So,
Sorry. That's my I Hate Penny podcast.
That's El Groucho's Gaming After Dark podcast.
There you go. Comes on after this.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's hopefully we'll get more information from both console manufacturers hopefully soon, because we are getting close to that deadline where it's like, if we're going to be buying these consoles this holiday, you're going to need to tell us how much it is and when we can pre-order, because most of us are ready to pre-order and we're just waiting for you to tell us when.
I need to know when and how much, because if it's too much, I need to buy a new toilet and buy Taco Bell stock, because they're probably going to do some type of game console release. So
yeah,
I need to buy a gym membership, a new toilet, and stock in Taco Bell.
and
some wet wipes just for emergencies.
Yeah, I probably have to put in a bidet. I don't want to use toilet paper this time around.
There you go. Be eco-friendly.
Absolutely.
It makes the console boot up sound, so it makes you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're going to have to do something soon, because people are getting tired. I'm seeing a lot more people saying, you know what, just stop this game of chicken you're all playing. Give me the date, give me the price, take my money, see you in 2 months.
Right, yeah, because like I said, they are running out of time. If they're going to release, especially if Xbox is going to release this November, it's already August, you're going to have to start putting out those pre-orders, because you got to know how many units you need to ship to everybody, right? I mean, you need to know how many pre-orders you have, so that way retailers and various things like that can start ordering units to sell.
Right.
And various things.
I don't think they have as large a stock as they would like to have right about now. I don't know if the hype is large enough for them to sell out, but I just think that COVID has caused a shortage in the amount of consoles that they probably planned on having. So they really need to know how many to ship to each region and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was going to say. There was, rumors been going around for, quite a long time since the whole COVID start, that Sony was having manufacturing issues, getting parts and everything like that. And there was rumors that they were going to do their release for, region set, North America, Europe, Japan, so on and so forth. And Phil Spencer did an interview 3 or 4 months back where he was not worried about the manufacturing side of it. I don't know. I know Microsoft does have plants in the U.S. now and Mexico where they can produce the Xbox Series X. Sony, on the other hand, there's I don't know of them having anything close to at least the U.S.
With the case,
I'm sure they need to hurry.
Console with the case of COVID. It comes free in every console.
Yeah,
that's right. It's COVID in HD.
With that free pack of clear candy.
Yes, they all come with candy.
Yeah, they all come with candy.
Yeah. Tastes just like Jell-O.
All right.
We do not condone the eating of the candy in the box.
No, don't eat the candy. It is not candy.
Shane has tried it.
Don't worry, the doctor says that vision will come back in that eye.
If he stops eating the candy.
Right.
Well,
he's
we have our
addicted now.
limits.
All right. Well, that was excellent talk about the gaming consoles. Do you guys have anything else that you want to put in, say, in regards to the new consoles, or anything else before we wrap it up?
Hurry up and take my money. I'm ready.
Lord, please give me a release date and some money. But I know I'd like to tell everybody that is listening, send us, any comments, requests, whatnot. Send them to us and let us know what you think.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening, and thank you, Patrick and Shane, for joining again for another great podcast. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank y'all.